we want to kick it off with my man, Phillip Jackson, co-founder, CEO, Future Commerce. We need to welcome him inside of the show. I believe he's here, Jack, isn't he? Is he here? Yes. Oh, he's not
yet.
I thought he was here.
So
he left. He left. No, but now he's back. He is here now. He is here now. We need to welcome him inside of the show. Everybody, welcome Phillip Jackson of Future Commerce. Bill, get inside this show. Get in here. Oh, yeah, a little late.
There we go.
There he is. There he is. There he is.
False start there. We're fine.
That's all right.
It's all right. And I want to say this, Phil, your audio is buttery smooth right now.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I try to make it as good as I possibly can. I've been doing this for 14 years. So that means I have like $30,000-$40,000 worth of gear. So you got to make use of it at some point. Dude, love the energy. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
We love your energy.
We love your energy. And I would say, I have to say, Phil, I always remember your hair. I mean, it is a signature for you, and it always looks great. Any secrets there? Are there any products that you're using? I mean,
This is the thing. I get asked about this a lot. I put together a Notion of how I do my hair, so I'll drop the link for everybody.
That's awesome.
You think I'm kidding? I've got affiliate links and everything. So
we want it. We want it. We're gonna share the link in the chat, and we're gonna cut it, and we're gonna share it when we clip this and share it with everyone.
Dude, you got it. You got it. It's a multi-step process. It's taken years to get it coiffed like this. So, yeah, it's yours for the taking. Often recreated, but never perfected.
Never duplicated. Not quite like yours, Phillip. Okay, tell us, give us the lowdown. We were covering from afar. We were seeing all of the things that Google released. You were there live and in living color.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear some initial impressions from you. Overview. I felt like internet was changing as they were talking, especially the cart piece was so unique for me. I wonder if made me wonder if YouTube's going to become one big checkout piece, one big checkout, one big cart. I just wondered how it's going to impact the whole. But if you could just give us back up and give us some background on your experience at Google I/O this year, and we can dive into some of these pieces that stood out to you.
Yeah. So there's some big headlines. Obviously, there's the Universal Cart, which is their expansion to their Universal Commerce Protocol, which is a true protocol that's been co-developed by Meta, now Amazon, Shopify's been on board, PayPal, and I think recently Stripe just joined. So it's an industry-wide protocol to allow agentic commerce, across payment rails, across commerce rails. So, one of the interesting things about what's made the internet possible in our lifetimes is that it's been built on open protocols, right? The internet protocol, the World Wide Web, these things are open and it's open access. And we all have benefit from these working groups over, 40, 50 years who work together across multiple, multinational corporations who didn't seek to try to own it of their own accord, but they all contributed to the common good. And that's really what Google has helped to lead the charge with here. And in developing something like Universal Cart, they're building something that is effectively best practice on top of this open standard. And so they're showing you what's possible. And I think one of the things to really take away here is, the announcements are, and the headline is, well, you can shop anywhere. You can add a product and you can put a bunch of products feasibly from Gmail soon, from YouTube pretty soon, from search pretty soon. But I really think that the undiscussed headline here is that where I think most people are going to encounter Universal Cart is in ads, because that's where most people actually discover products. And I believe, outside of creator partnerships where creators have access to things like a merch shelf, most people aren't merchandising products on YouTube. You are getting products merchandised to you on YouTube through ads. And so you will most likely encounter things like Universal Cart and interact with products and have the ability to check out in an ad unit. And that's the thing that's not really been discussed here. And that happened at the day after Google I/O. A lot of this was subtly discussed and released, along with a lot of other interesting data points that we can talk about user behavior and why this is important, and why I think, so many people will take advantage of something like this, but specifically how ads will change because of universal cart. Now, there's a ton of friction as to like what it's going to take for a operator or merchant to get there. So it's not a panacea, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. But that's actually what's going to happen. Yeah.
That's super interesting.
The capability that what I was imagining in my mind and what you're discussing here, I'm on YouTube, ad pops up, and then I can look at the thing and actually check out right there. I can buy the thing. That to me was like fascinating because I mean, everybody knows who's ever like run an ad on YouTube. It's always like, well, I promise it's having, real incremental impact. I promise it is. I know you can't see the clicks, but it is. And let's put together, let's map it out how we can show it. And it made me think, number one, incredibly smart, because Google owns so much of the internet with search, but turning YouTube into something where not only can I probably see clicks, but I can see direct add to cart, and I bought right then and there, and then merchants being able to leverage that. That was like phenomenal for me.
Well, it depends on how much you've actually integrated with the protocol. And so if you actually want to dig under the hood, there are a number of steps for you to get universal commerce protocol ready, so that you can take advantage of these programs that are coming soon. And one of the early launch case studies here is Ulta. So Ulta Beauty has adopted a number of these features. They're in early test along with Google. And like any of these early case studies, you have to assume, I don't know this for certain, but the way that they talk about it, the way that they're going around and using Ulta as a case study, I have to believe that Google, like Anthropic and like Meta and all the others, they have agency partners that likely help to implement this. They likely underwrite the cost of implementation for this sort of thing. But what they talk about when they talk about getting onto UCP and doing things like a universal cart is they're talking about the need for clean data. They talk about the need to add multiple new attributes onto every product so that it's discoverable in like AI mode, because you have to be conversing with AI for this to become discoverable. They also talk about just the shift internally to it's not just like you can flip this on in Shopify, right? Like, because Shopify is part of UCP working group doesn't mean that there's a mode in Shopify you just go turn it on. And as much as we all like to think that the whole world runs on Shopify, the whole world doesn't run on Shopify. So there's a gap for any business to actually get ready for this sort of a big change. And so I would believe, if you think about who actually has clean data in an organization and who actually is running something like a PIM to have multiple types of data, like the gap of who's going to be doing this in the near future is probably a 6 to 12, if not an 18-month time horizon for the upper mid market and large enterprises to actually get on board for something like this. And it's a large budget. Like the actual technological lift is not small. I've written a 4,800 word piece on this. That's over on futurecommerce.com. And it's called Hungry Hyperscalers. It's also about the tokenomics of what has happened since Google I/O, because they've tripled the cost of their new frontier model. It's a whole thing. But if you want to go to futurecommerce.com, I'll link to it and you guys can post it up. Yeah, but it's a lot. There's a lot of news. But the commerce implications are vast.
Yeah. Wow. I was really hoping we could just turn it on. Anyway,
not sounding like that.
Nothing's that easy.
Yeah.
I wish.
Could you talk to us about the kind of the boots on the ground reaction to the glasses announcement? I mean, this is I would say this is their second shot at this. Everybody knows the original Google Glass, and it was Chris and I covered it on the show, and it was just a bit too early. Could you talk about how that was perceived actually at the conference, how people felt kind of after that? What were the conversations like?
Yeah. If you remember back to the early days of Google Glass and what they then termed as glass holes, guys like Robert
Yeah.
Scoble, who ruined it for
Yeah.
everybody with his picture of him in
Yeah.
the shower.
Yep.
This is a very
Super weird.
different take on that, right? Because we have two very different fashion partners who've come alongside, and just is very Google. If you compare it to Meta's approach, Meta actually took a stake in one of the world's largest eyeglass manufacturers in the world, and so they own a stake in the manufacturing to
Sure.
produce the Meta Ray-Bans. That's not how Google has gone about this. They're doing it in partnership with Samsung. So Samsung is actually providing a good amount of the technology and the hardware, and that's going into frames that are provided by both Warby Parker and Gentle Monster. And so that's sort of the context here. The demo that was had on stage has sort of been widely panned on like X, for instance, about why would anyone want to do the thing that was being discussed. And I think the demo in short was the demo was take a picture of the crowd and have Nano Banana edit it basically all with your voice. But what immediately preceded that, which is getting zero coverage, was speaking with Gemini Flash 3.5, which is their new frontier model, and having a conversation with it and say, it was a plain language conversation with Gemini in real time saying, hey, remember where I went last week with my friend?
Yes.
I want to go back there, but on the way, I want to go grab my usual from a coffee shop, find a coffee shop on the way and order it for me ahead of time. And with zero additional context, it looked up the calendar invite from last week, didn't even like know who it was or what the friend was, like no other confirmation. It was like, oh, it was that place. I found this coffee shop on the way. It opened DoorDash headless in her phone. It browsed DoorDash. They showed it, like it browsed DoorDash in the phone and then asked, how much of a tip do you want to leave? Right. And it just did the thing.
It's impressive.
To me, that is not a thing that Meta glasses are doing right now. You don't have that level of deep integration with your phone. And that is probably the promise of what we would want with Siri if Apple had a not 7,500 pound device that you wear on your head. And so that is a much tighter integration also that you can get with a Pixel phone with a glass, a glasses or an audio glasses device that is provided also by Google. And so this is interesting to me. Also, I'm a Pixel owner, which is a mark of shame I wear. But it's interesting, right? And I think that all demos are slick. I mean, who knows how this will actually function in real life? Even Siri looks good on stage, but it was received extraordinarily well. I think probably because they were prompted in the room to say, clap really loud if this works. So,
all right.
But everybody afterwards, just to like sum it up, everybody afterwards were saying, if this actually delivers the way that we think that it will, and Gemini actually is pretty impressive. If this works the way that it's being demoed, it's the promise that we've been waiting for, is like a true agentic relationship with something called Spark. And so, but it's all coming soon. And that's one of the problems. Like everything's coming soon. It's not quite here right now. Developers get the most of it. So yeah.
I always want it to be like nowish. And that's part of the problem where I get disappointed with these things. I will also say this. I watched the coffee ordering experience, which is impressive. And I feel like they have, I can't remember the verbiage. It was something about like intelligence. Anyway, I felt the framing around how, what the glasses could promise and bring, was, nice. I felt that it was wise how they went about that. But I will say, I want the thing to be completely detached from my phone. I just want the glasses to look cool and be awesome and be the supercomputer. That's what I long for. I mean, is that like 15 years away? I mean, not that you have to have the answer, but that's like ultimately what I'm wanting. I'm wanting the glasses to replace the phone instead of just working smoothly in tandem.
I really feel like we're almost there anyway. If you have the discipline to leave the phone in your pocket. I have Meta Ray-Bans, and the Gen 2s are very close to being able to accomplish a lot today. You can effectively talk to ChatGPT from your phone with your glasses. It can do a lot of things like live translation. It can do conversation focus. Like a lot of the things that you may want it to do, it can do without you having to pick up your phone. It can read your calendar, you can read your messages. I can accomplish a lot with my Ray-Bans. And I think with tighter phone integration, like phone OS level integration, you probably could get even better. The experience could be even tighter, but I don't know that, like, you're not going to get the 512 gig Snapdragon 3 or whatever. Like, you're not going to get that level of compute from a glasses, not anytime soon. I mean, not without probably without Elon's intervention anyway. So we're a long way away from on face, but we're getting closer every day. But one thing that hasn't been talked about, and we probably need to talk about, is Google Flow. And this is really important for people that are operators, is their new Gemini Omni model powers a lot of the experiences that you're seeing that are sort of being floated out there right now. Google Flow is their like video audio workstation. They had a sort of a festival atmosphere at the Google I/O show, and ostensibly there's this new Omni model, which is like in anything to anything. You can put text in, get audio, video, text out. You can put video in and get edited video on the output. And some of the demos that the community are creating now in the week hence are more impressive than what they showed on stage. And I think it's really incredible too. So the actual demos that they were showing in the like the product experts when I went into my press tour were all CPG product focused. Like it was, here, I'm going to create a character of you. Like, let me take a headshot of you. I'm going to create a character of you. And then I'm going to say, have it rep you with long hair holding a shampoo bottle, talking about like the product features, and do it in like 15 seconds with a CTA.
Sure.
And Chris, dude, it did this in 30 seconds. It made the video.
That's cool. That is cool.
And what's insane about it is he generated like 5 different versions of this with a consistent character. And also it did a bunch of punch-ins with like, here's my hair and here's the bottle and here's like a thing. Like it wasn't someone sitting trying to create 20 different, scenes and then stitching them together. It understands how to make a great ad. And so again, beyond just the things that were getting headlines, there's some depth to the things that I think are really applicable in this industry for IO. And again, I think a lot of selfish promotion, shameless self-promotion, future stuff. All of that's recapped for us. So
Phil, before you get out of here, and I appreciate you making the time to join us today and bring this knowledge and consideration and tease these thought pieces that we all need to go to Future Commerce and check out. Brother, you have got to tell us about these incredible like anthology hardback books that you guys produce. They're so impressive.
Thank you.
And is the current one lore, or am I one behind?
Yeah, well, yeah, so we have a couple of different formats. I'll hold one up here. If I can, I'm gonna do the influencer thing and like, can I get my ASMR for you?
Tapping, the tapping.
This is our newest hardcover. This is
lore,
300 pages, and it asks a bold question like, where is the truth of a brand? Right? Is the truth of a brand in the story for the brand owner to tell, right? Is it the one that we create because we're the stewards of the brand, like we own the brand, we own the story of the brand? Is the story of the brand in the community's eyes? Like the community owns the brand because we live in this multiplayer world where we have the force and the will to be able to tell Apple, we don't like that ad, take that ad down, I'm going to change your ad, right? Or is the truth of a brand really somewhere in between, where we co-create a brand together, both with the story that the brand is telling over time and the products they create and the design and the and the provenance that has been built up over time, but then also what the community is bringing to it and what the customers demand of the brand. And if that is true, if that's true, then it's more like myth. It's more like mythology. We're all co-creating a story that no one really owns. We all own it, right? And so 300 pages, and it's, you know, it's an incredible, beautiful work. And there's a bunch of stuff that's fallen out of my copy. But we go into some crazy stuff in here. I would just tell you to go check it out. Go to lorejournal.com. It'll tell you more about it. But we do have a bunch of books. They're all on my shelf back here. We got Strata, Archetypes, Muses, Lore, the Multiplayer brand. We got a ton of books. Got another one coming out this fall. But I'd love to, you know, just go check out our store. We got a ton of over there. And
Lore Journal,
thanks.
lorejournal.com, Future Commerce. Phil, you are a true artiste, and I appreciate what you bring uniquely to our community. Everybody go find and follow Phil everywhere. Go to Future Commerce, dig into all of those think pieces, and go get Lore. Brother, we appreciate you coming, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you both.